Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I am so excited about this episode. And I normally never start with I'm so excited because I feel like that's so cliche and like so many people use that. Like whenever you see people promoting their stuff, they're always like, I'm so excited. And I'm like, cool, good for you. I'm glad that you're so excited. But like, what is in it for me, you know? So here's what's in it for you. I brought back my darling friend in the background.
Sorry.
Yes, yeah, now we're going to play Guess That Laugh. Do you know who this is? I guess you would because you now have seen the episode title, so you know who my guest is. So my guest tonight is Amanda Francis. She is back for more. She couldn't get enough the first time around. Literally,
Always.
yeah, literally like, Amanda, our episode together, like, is the highest rated. It overrides all of my solo episodes, all my other guests. It's just like, oh, yeah, Amanda, she's just going to like win at my podcast too.
Maybe people just really love us together.
They do. They really do. We have good chemistry,
Good vibes.
We do. I think like if you were in the male form and we compared charts, I think there would be some good energy there.
Really? Too bad we both like peanuts.
I know. I mean, I think it would be like a short-term fling. I don't think it'd be like everlasting love, but I think like we'd have a really fun time, and then we'd like literally we would get our money's worth, if you will, and then like we'd be done. I think you'd just be like, wow, that was amazing.
With no hard feelings.
No hard feelings. Like we would go back to like our like friends, and we would have like drinks and talk about how amazing it was, and then they'd be like, oh my god, like, I think that person's the one, and you're like, no,
not really, not so much.
Yeah, I think it's your what do you have, Capricorn rising?
I thought it was an Aquarius rising.
Really?
Is my whole life a lie?
Oh, well, that's a loaded question.
Virgo sun, Leo moon. I'm living that shit.
Yeah, I could have sworn you were Cap rising. Maybe you're on the cusp of the rising signs, which would be possible.
Well, what we can do is I can pull up a chart real quick.
Okay, you pull up a chart. You pull up a chart while I do the intro that I said I was going to do before you took over.
Okay, on it.
Just kidding. I love you.
You're just so funny. I couldn't help it.
I know. I am. So, okay, before we really dig into Amanda, and again, now I'm talking about like me as her friend, not me as her lover in another life. She is offering her money mentality makeover program again. Many of you that listened opted into it last year. You have the chance to do it again this year. And what's really cool about the program is all the things that we're going to talk about in this episode. But here's two very important things. The first very important thing, the cart is closing February 15th. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to obsess over the website. You're going to follow Amanda on Instagram. You're going to be like, oh my God, I need this course. Then you're going to have Valentine's Day. You're going to have a great time. You're going to savor all the Valentine's Day vibes. And, either one of two ways are going to happen here. You're going to be single and you're like, oh my God, like, I need to treat myself. Boom, here's Amanda's course. Or you're like, oh my God, that was so amazing. Somebody needs to treat me. Boom, here's your Valentine's Day gift. Oh my gosh, this course. How amazing to say that you got it for Valentine's Day. And then you can go to the Facebook group and tell everyone that you manifested it for Valentine's, and it'll be so perfect. Here's the second thing about it. All right, so you have till Friday to opt in, February 15th. The second thing is if you do, with my affiliate link, you get an astrology business planning session with me. This is an amazing value. It's one-on-one time with me. We're going to look into your chart just like we're about to look into Amanda's chart, which, by the way, this is a session that I've done with Amanda in the past to help her launch her programs, especially to get her when she was kind of in a space of like not understanding that cosmic influences can have an impact on your business. We kind of got to look into things, and we were able to see where some things were misaligned, and we got it all straightened out. And now she intuitively understands the cosmos and is able to plan her business every year based on this kind of magic. So, and honestly, blueprint, if you will. So as part of opting in, you get a one-on-one astrology business planning session with me. It's amazing. Everyone that does it really, really loves it and really values it as a bonus and a compliment to the course. So to sign up, the link is kind of a mouthful. So, I'll give you a little bit of warning. You can just look for it in the show notes, and you can find it there. The bit.ly thing is weird, so we're just doing the regular affiliate link. You can find it in the show notes, or if you're just like, Danielle, I can't find the link and I need the bonus, email me, Danielle@daniellemercurio.com, or shoot me a message on the Instagram. We will make sure to get you in. And if you have any questions or you're feeling like, I'm not sure if it's for me, just message me. We'll talk it out. We'll see if it's a good fit for you, and we'll go from there. Okay, on to the show. Amanda, did you
My
find your
life
chart?
is a disaster. No, listen to this. Do you
All right.
remember the first time you did my chart ever? Ever?
Yeah, like a
4 years ago?
long time ago.
Yeah. And
Let's
I was
go
like,
back
I
in
have a
time.
feeling my birth certificate's wrong. And you're like, what is this like energy of mistrust about? And I'm like, it says I was born at 5:15 and I feel I was born at 3:15. And you're like, I don't think birth certificates are wrong. Well, then my mom brought me her journal from when she was pregnant with me. She's never journaled in her entire life except for those 9 months, which is interesting because I was like a journaler from when I was 7 on. Anyway, my mom brought me her journal and I'm reading her journal and I read about the day I'm born and it's 3:15. If you look at 3:15, it's Capricorn. If you look at 5:15, it's Aquarius. And now I don't know. Now I'm questioning myself, wondering which one the journal said and which one the birth certificate said in my life is still alive, because we don't know what my rising is.
Shit. All right. Well, I went with Capricorn. So I feel like there's something to that. Although Aquarian would serve you too. Are you looking at any sense of a chart right now?
No, I just did a calculator and I put in 3:15 and 5:15. I put them both in because I couldn't remember. One says Capricorn, one says Aquarius.
Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rising sign changes every 2 hours. Thus.
Well,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I can go upstairs and find this journal. I had it in a top cabinet, like high away, so that the like vibes wouldn't be all over me like all the time, but so I could access it if needed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
okay.
Is it on top of? I noticed. I was watching your stories today. You have like a very large amount of wood in your living room. Is it on top of that?
No, it's shelves in the laundry room.
Who is it?
Where the whole journals are.
What lumberjack is she seeing?
Apparently, it's like a trend. It's like a thing. I don't know. I'm just going with it. I didn't actually pick that out. But it does coordinate with the other things.
No, it works. It works. If you see the layout, it's very aesthetically pleasing. But I just was like, that's a lot of wood.
It's a lot of wood. Do you know what's extra funny about it? Is I have an electric fireplace in my living room.
Of course you do.
That is so Malibu.
Literally.
I can't even deal with how Malibu that is.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So you're just, looking at it for the sake of
living my best life, looking at this wood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe we can put in the show notes whether I'm a Capricorn or Aquarius rising.
All right, to be continued. Okay. Yeah, and for anyone listening that doesn't understand what a rising sign is, really quick. So a rising sign has to do clearly with the time you were born. That's why it's very crucial, and it's the impression that you make to the world. So, I mean, I could see either, to be honest. And honestly, you probably have, whether you're Capricorn or Aquarian rising, you probably have other planets that are either Capricorn or Aquarius. So you have that energy somewhere.
Right.
But I know you want
I do want to know.
We'll figure it out.
Because, I mean, I so own my Leo moon.
I know
I want to own my rising.
Mm-hmm.
The same.
Yeah.
I want the vibes.
I know. Leo moon's amazing. I'm a Leo moon as well.
You're a Leo everything.
Yeah, I'm a Leo everything. Oh, story of my life. That's going to be the title of my book. She's a Leo everything.
Leo everything.
# Leo everything. I was actually
Leo all day, every day.
I was doing a reading for someone recently who found me through you, and it was really sweet. So yeah, because I always ask, like, how'd you find me? And she was like, oh, like somehow through Amanda Francis. And we were doing her chart, and I was like, oh, like you're a Leo moon. I'm like, so am I. I'm like, so is Amanda. And we were all like so excited.
So good.
Like, club.
Back when I lived in Tulsa, one day a friend of mine who's into astrology texted me and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, sorry, busy. I'm going to text you back when the camera crew leaves my house. And she's like, camera crew? Are we in LA or Tulsa? And I was like, Tulsa, LA in the future. And she's like, oh, right. You're a Leo moon. And I was like, I am a Leo moon. There should be a camera crew everywhere, all the time.
We love it. We're like born a reality show.
Kind of. It feels like you're in one all the time.
Yeah. All right, wait. I feel like you have like hopes for your own reality show, yes? Like a real one?
Yeah. I have a show creator pitching me to networks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Gotta get you on Bravo.
I don't know what my vibe is with that because I don't
Really?
want drama. But
Oh.
okay, so one time at one
Well,
of
then
my
who
VIP
wants?
days,
Yeah, go ahead.
one time at one of my VIP days, I was like riffing as I do. And I said, I never have drama, but when I do, I monetize it. And my client and friend Sarah Dan was like, that is your reality show housewives thing. You know, like the how like it
Yep,
shows each housewife
100%.
character and they
Yeah.
say a thing.
Yep.
I
Yep.
never have drama, but when I do, I monetize it. So, I mean, I
Love
don't actually want a dramatic show, though. I want a helping people changing the world show,
it.
but we'll see how all this develops,
So you want like an own like Oprah network?
I don't know that I want to sit on a couch with someone and just coach them. Like I could
No.
shift
No,
someone's
it'd still
energy
be
and
your
dig into
life.
their money beliefs
Yeah.
in front of a camera, and I could also follow parts of my life. I think there's an untapped network of this online coaching personal development industry where these people are busting on the scene using their intuitive gifts and making millions. It's like, what the fuck is this? Like the fact that this isn't like widely known or understood, I think is an interesting show. I think there's many angles to my life that is made for television.
Okay, yes. All right, let's roll with that. First, I want to share my Real Housewives hash handle.
Oh, you have your phrase for that? Perfect.
Yeah. So mine is,
Of course you do.
I may be spiritual, but I'm not a saint. That's mine.
So good.
Okay.
We didn't think you were.
Yeah. No, Saint
No.
Danielle t-shirts. That would be really horrifying if there was a t-shirt like that with me on it as a saint. Okay. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about what you were just talking about, this untapped market of coaches that are literally able to come in and help you make millions. Like, elaborate on that.
What do you mean? Like,
So,
I just,
I think you're right. Like, I think we look at coaching is definitely a booming industry from the space of people understanding its value. More and more people are getting signed up to be a coach, and more people are understanding what a life coach is. Like, I feel like when I talk about who I am, like there's less people saying, like, when I say I am a coach, there's less people being like, oh, I never heard of that, or like, tell me more. Like, what do you mean?
oh, right. When we
Right?
first started, people didn't know what we were saying when we said
They
we
didn't
were
know
a
it all.
coach. Totally. Like
Right.
on the street, if you
Yeah.
had a conversation, no one would know what you were talking about. That's true.
Like, you had to give them like a lesson in like what a coach was. But
That's
now,
true.
like,
Yeah.
from your, so you're, I think coaching is becoming more mainstream, but this notion that you're saying is that you can use coaching as a money mindset tool. And again, not just basic like money mindset, but like literally to the space of millions. So like,
Well,
share more about that.
we can manifest money through anything, right? Like I actually a few minutes ago was writing an email to go out to my email list tonight, and I literally listed the ways people have made money after signing up for Money Mentality Makeover before the modules even drop. Like from the day they sign up, maybe they start going through the bonuses right away. Maybe it happens within an hour, 24 hours of signing up, but just a list of ways money came in, right? And some of them are coaches. And so they're writing about like clients. One girl's like, I got 6 clients in the first week. And, someone else is like, I got my highest paying pay in full $10,000 client in 24 hours. And like, there's coaches saying those things. But then there's people saying, my husband got offered his dream job. My boyfriend got a promotion. I got an unexpected raise. There were 5 checks in the mail came in today. What even is this? Like, so, I mean, I think coaching is interesting. Spiritual coaching is interesting because we have a higher wealth consciousness in the industry than the average industry. But the wealth consciousness principles aren't limited to any industry ever, right? Like, money shows up for you when you open up to the flow of money, and between our limiting beliefs, doubts, and fears, and our energetic patterns, beliefs, and ways of operating with money, we just block the natural flow that was always supposed to be. So yeah, but so that's what I believe about money. The reason I think one of the reasons I think I should be on TV is to illuminate the whole world on how money gets to work. But also the angle of this industry and being a leader in this industry is just interesting because it's unknown to some degree. You know what I mean? So that's what I meant by that part. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. You're right. Like, it is relatively new. So like, what does it actually mean? What is the longevity of it? And I think I really appreciate what you said about having a higher wealth consciousness and a higher access to just a different way of looking at life, because you bring in that spirituality. Because again, I think sometimes with coaching, Well, it's very empowering and it can absolutely change your life. One of the things that when you first learn about what coaching is, or when you take that certification program, it's about meeting people where they're at, which is
Yeah.
part of it, which is true, but then there's not enough emphasis on and then elevating them to a whole new way of being, not just meeting them where they're at, finding their blocks and getting them to move forward. That's all great, but like, what if you were to give them a whole new realm of possibilities that they didn't even know were capable of
It's like
having?
level 1 and level 5 or something,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
when a good coach gets started, I would say they show up with like empathetic understanding. They make a client feel safe, heard, seen, understood. They dig into the inner world of the client. They identify where the client's stuck and they help them move through. And that's like still a good fucking coach.
Yeah.
But I think a more advanced, I don't know, paradigm that I don't think we could expect every single coach or every single
Yeah.
therapist to like know how to do or play into is being able to read and elevate the energy of a person. And like I think one of my beliefs is that the containers we get in and the spaces we spend time in elevate us. Like I view the money course as a sacred container, and the energy I infuse into the container and the way I grid and prepare the space for change. I'm not shocked when people sign up and
Right.
get a check the same day. I'm like, I
Mhm.
know that's the way
Mhm.
I made it. But that's
Yes.
hard. Like because I get the energy of it. That's hard to explain to someone. So I
Right.
just tell them, have faith, sign up intentionally, trust yourself. Let's do this. Because what am I going to say? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you can't put that shit on a sales page. I mean, or
No.
maybe you can. Maybe
Yeah.
it will, but you'll see.
Right.
But
To be continued.
to be continued, whether next year's sales page is like, listen to the cosmic gridding of Money Mentality Makeover. Anyway, so it's set up to energetically, it's set up to shift people, to shift, change, and rearrange them, and
Mhm.
if they show up willing, open, and receptive. And I can't guarantee how available someone will be for change,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
I can set change up to be available energetically without ever talking to a person. And that's my belief in, it's not a belief in courses, it's a belief in energetic containers. And
Absolutely.
my business,
Mhm.
they are courses
Mhm.
and masterminds and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Those are your tangible kind of ways of offering it to the
Getting
world.
in these spaces. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. But really the essence of what you do is just becoming an energetic match for what you desire, what you crave. And money is your specialty, but there are so many other things that we can become an energetic match for in a really beautiful, elevated way.
Yes. I mean, anything. And that's kind of another thing I love about it. I think like in module 4, once you go through like the first, 3, like the first 3 modules are a little more basic. The bonuses are like pretty elevated. And the second 3 modules are pretty elevated. And the first 3 are like, let me just cover the bases in case,
Right.
someone
Let's
needs this.
get your feet
But
wet.
I think
Hmm.
like, yeah, I'm just going to break this down in case you're confused. I
Hmm.
explain it very logically and simply, which I
Yeah.
think is important. And then we go deeper, which is why I think it's a course that carries people through. I think it's the only money course you'll ever need. I think it can carry a person through many, many, many levels and grow with the person.
Yeah,
But
I can
anyway, I was
agree with that.
saying, yeah, I hear that a lot from people who've taken it, over and over like 4 years. They're like, I
Mhm.
still do this course all the time. It's growing with me. But I was going to say something about that. Oh, module 4. Early in module 4, I'm like, hi, in case you haven't picked up on it yet, I tell you this is about money. And it is
Mhm.
about money, but it's really about energy. It's really
Yes.
about understanding that you can shift, change, and rearrange the energetic pattern of anything and change the dynamics of how that thing works in your life, how it
Absolutely.
responds to you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that. And one of the things I was reading one of your emails that you sent out today, and you said something like money was waiting for you all along. Like the money was there
Mm.
all along. And I love that line. I was like, oh, that's so juicy. It's so romantic.
Well, it feels that way to me. I feel like, okay, there is money circulating the planet all the time. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, people are getting richer all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
There is money being, people are buying, people are purchasing, people are earning all the time, all the time, all the time. So money is circulating all the time. And I believe it's always trying to make its way to you. It's already like, it feels to me like it's circling you, like it's in your fucking orbit, but it can't come in if you're telling stories about it, if you're blocking it, if you're believing you're not worthy of it, if you believe that rich people are selfish, if you believe that bad things will happen to you if you make money, if you believe that if you make money, you have to give it away to the taxes or give it away to your family or whatever. If all that's going on, you're just blocking it all day. So like a lot of the stories I hear from people who have unexpected things happen, you know, just the day they enroll, it's always like, oh, the check was already in the mail, or the check was under the basket in my kitchen and I just couldn't find it for 3 years.
God.
Or, you know,
Yes.
like I remember this one girl I really loved. She had an old truck sitting in her backyard and someone knocked on her door the day she signed up and was like, can I buy this truck or whatever? Actually, I don't think it was the day she signed up. It was within the first month or something on that story. Yeah. But point being, money was always trying to make its way to you. There were already ways to make money that you couldn't see.
Right.
But then you became available. Yeah.
Right. You weren't willing to open your eyes for some reason, for some story, for some old programming, for some forsaken block that you developed. And then literally as soon as you gave yourself permission, right? Like I think that's what your course does. And I think by investing in this program, it's giving people permission to open their eyes. And then once they open their eyes, they see what was waiting all along. It's so true. I had something like that happen recently. And again, the check was in my mailbox. I didn't check my mailbox for like 3 days. And I was going back and forth around whether I wanted to do this one thing or not. And then finally I was like, all right, I'm just like enough procrastinating. I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to trust that the money's going to come right back. And then literally that afternoon I went to check my mailbox.
The check was already in your
It was there.
And the check was already in the fucking mail. Right?
And it was dated from 3 days ago, like 3 days prior to when I was, you know, going back and forth. So, but again, like, and it's part of the process though. And I think, you know, and it was good. In some ways, it was good that it happened that way for me, right? As opposed to going to my mailbox, seeing the check and be like, oh, cool, this is going to pay for X, Y, and Z. I think having those moments where you really do just take a moment to see like, oh, wait, I was being hesitant. I was blocking myself. And all I had to do was just be in the energy of trust, be in the energy of opening up.
Energy and receiving. Yeah.
And it's always good to have those little reminders, I find anyway. Like,
yeah. And I think it's been my experience that money flows in the path of least resistance. And I think that's an Abraham Hicks phrase, but like,
sounds like it.
Yeah, I think it's very true. Like for some people, the path of least resistance is their husband's job. Their path of least resistance could be their job. It could be a check from a family member. The path of least resistance could be a lot of things. Yes. For me, the path of least resistance is often my business because I'm very open to receiving through my business. I have no qualms about money coming in through my company. Very open to it. But I remember when I was blocking my business years and years ago, and I didn't believe I could receive, and it was actually the first time I launched the money course. I didn't believe I could receive money, and I was working on believing it, and I was believing it more and more, and I was doing so much work around money, and like I knew it was all working, but I was just had more doubts and more resistance than, you know, I do. Like those things don't exist in my vibration anymore. But I remember what happened was I was like $2,000 short from my like goal for the month. And I was like, who am I to teach about money? I'm $2,000 away from my goal. And then it was like Christmas at my parents' house. I got home, checked the mail, and there was a thing in the mail from Bank of America saying they credited me $2,000 on my credit card, which paid off the card. So got me out of debt, got me to the $2,000 I was wanting. Yes. And it was just a reversal of fees over the life of that credit card. So it's like,
so wild.
I don't need a path of least resistance like that anymore. I'm open to money coming all of the ways. But like money's gonna, if you become a match for it, it will get to you somehow. I know that for sure.
Yeah, it'll find a way. And I think a lot of people struggle with this notion of it being easy. Like it's so hard for people to wrap their head around something being easy. And for some reason, it's actually easier to justify something being difficult or not working out. Why do we do that?
I think we just don't feel fucking worthy. I think it's in the collective consciousness of our society, maybe our world.
Right.
In the collective consciousness that you don't deserve it unless you worked for it. And like, do not get me wrong. I am such a product and believer in you can create your life and your reality. Like, and I guess my version of the American dream, if I can come from tiny town, middle America, lower middle class, and become a multimillionaire. Like, I'm such a believer in like, in that hard work vibe. Like I held a vision, I worked hard, I did my thing. Like this wasn't without work.
Oh, of
But the
course.
thing is, when you think you're not worthy unless you suffered and struggled, you create a fucked up paradigm in your life. Because I can work from joy, I can work from flow, I can work from passion. That doesn't mean suffering
Right.
to allow yourself to now make it. You know what I mean? So if you're just
Absolutely.
worthy of good things because you are, and you're worthy of abundance because you are, and you drop all of that, then yes, of course, money can be easy the vast majority of the time. I think the hardest part is just dealing with the fucked up limiting beliefs and energetic patterns. I don't think the actual receiving's hard.
No, the receiving's not hard. The receiving's the easiest part. It's just everything that our mind tells us to prevent us from going to that place.
Yeah. I think we're convinced that hard work is supposed to be the way. And
Yeah.
then people get like really, I mean, I used to be this way. I'd be really proud for like,
Yep.
that I pulled all nighters,
Oh
that I worked
yeah.
so hard, like
Worked all
whatever.
weekend,
Yeah.
sacrificed.
Now it's like I do
Sure.
some work on the weekends, and it's because it's what I want to do, and I
It's
love
a
my job,
conscious
and I love how
choice.
I've
Hmm.
set up my schedule for how I want to do the things all week or whatever. But it's not that I'm not worthy until I suffered writing emails on a Sunday, you
Yeah, and
know?
that's that energy of feeling like you have something to prove, right? Like, oh, I have to
Yeah, like
prove
now I've done
myself.
enough.
I have
Yeah,
to
yeah, yeah,
prove
yeah.
how much I did. I have to showcase like how hard I work. When really, honestly, it's kind of a turn off, to be honest. Like, who wants to
It's
hang
not
around?
hot.
No, like who wants to hang around with somebody who's talking about how they worked all the time? They don't have any fun and they stay home. How did you even make it
I
out here?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's something about like nothing to prove, no
Hmm.
one to impress. Like one of my clients last night was like, "You're so cool." I'm like, "What?" And she's like, you have a cool girl thing." And I'm like, "I don't really feel cool." And she's like, "No, you do." And she's like, "Tell me about it." I'm like, "There's not a cool energy. I don't try to okay. I don't know how I'm perceived. I don't try to put out a cool energy. I try to just fucking like myself, right? Like
Yeah.
myself, like my job, like my work,
Hmm.
like what I do. I just like me, right?
Yeah.
And I don't give a lot of fucks about people who don't think I should be in a bathtub full of $100 bills because I am. So,
Yeah.
so like if I just, it's the nothing to prove, nothing, no one, nothing to prove, no one to impress, not trying to be cool is just like a vibe of, I don't know, I think ease and worthiness.
I absolutely think it is. And what's interesting is how you described yourself is exactly how I would say that I see you, definitely in that way, which is a testament to your ability to really be authentic and who you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just feel like if there's nothing to hide, then just
Right, right.
talk to the people on the internet, like do your thing.
Yeah, yeah. So then it makes, anyone that's listening, I question you this. What are you hiding? What do you
Oh,
feel
I
like you
know.
have to hide?
Mhm.
Which
Mhm.
is kind of
Mm.
silly. I mean, there's nothing to hide. I mean, you can consciously make a choice of this isn't something I want to share, but that's different
Oh,
than
sure.
hiding, right? Like
Yeah,
you can
yeah. You're
say
not
like,
obligated to share
no,
anything. None of us are.
absolutely not. No, you share from your heart, you share what feels good, you share what feels like it's going to be value or in alignment to whatever it may be. But if there's a part of you that wants to and isn't because of some kind of fear or some kind of belief that you can't be seen, that's another story.
1,000,000%. A
Yeah.
million percent. But then even okay, the times that you have shame around something and you're convinced that you can't share it, and once again, it doesn't have to be shared. But you
Hmm.
say you decide you want to share it and you out yourself on the internet, on an email,
Yes.
on a live stream, whatever. Have you ever once had a time of outing yourself that not everyone loved it? Like,
Mm,
people love that shit.
yeah, I
Like
was just,
anytime you're like, here's what I'm going through, here's
oh, of
the fear.
course. Hmm.
It was already in your vibration. Like you were already putting it out there. People already sensed whatever it fucking was. There was never anything to not
Yeah.
just be able to be clean with and tell your story about it the way you wanted to, you know?
Right, right. Yeah, no, I was thinking about a random time in the bedroom, but this is a different scenario altogether. So, yeah, no, it's true. Like no one I've never had a vulnerable post or share of any kind and someone's like, "Go back in hiding." Like
We don't want to hear your truth.
yeah.
Stay in shame.
I don't want to see you ever again. Get out of
Yeah.
here. Buy a
Yeah, for
mask.
sure.
No, nobody says these things. And, and I want you to challenge yourself, anyone that's listening, these comments that we're afraid of, or these things that we think people are going to think, I want you to realize nobody is thinking that. Those are your thoughts. You're thinking that about yourself. You're the one that's feeling some kind of fear or shame. Like you said, there's not people out there trolling around to literally get in your head and put you down exactly as your worst fear is. It doesn't work that way.
No. Right. So if in your head you're going, but Aunt Shelley's going to think I'm being too personable, and my third grade teacher is going to think, the fuck does she think she is?
Right.
These are all just things living in your vibration, period, living in your mind. Yeah. And they might be reflected back to you as long as you keep fearing them. But once you deal with the thoughts in your own self, people won't reflect them back to you anymore.
Right. And it's so much more satisfying when you let that go. I mean, again, yeah, you can worry about what Aunt Shelley or your third grade teacher are thinking, but I'm sorry, at the end of the day, where are they? How are they influencing?
Are they putting themselves out online every day? Are they doing the damn thing? Yeah,
no.
I know.
Are they paying your bills? You know,
Totally.
I mean, even if they were, it still doesn't matter. But I mean, I think it'd be kind of interesting if your third grade teacher was paying your bills. But that's a story you should share. Okay.
That could be someone's path of least resistance. Maybe.
But Amanda, I can't share because my third grade teacher, Mrs. Tallulah, is paying my rent. And she says I'm too much. What do I do?
Make your own goddamn money.
That's right. I mean. It's true though. It's, you know, I mean, yeah, it's true. It's like, that's the thing. It's not, again, like, you can look at people that even have a trust fund or anything like that, that are still like, there's a few entrepreneurs that I actually very much admire that have built their stuff on their own because they want to make their own money. And there's something really beautiful about that.
Oh, totally. You know, and to speak to that, I have a client right now who has a trust fund who just, you know, completely doesn't use it because she wants to build her business and that's just how she feels. But I can say for sure with working, you know, like with thousands of people on money at this point, that like these fears and limiting beliefs are not limited to people who grew up like poor, middle class, or in poverty or something. Like I have had conversations with just as many people who grew up with money, who did not grow up with money, who have the same fears of it running out, it not lasting, not being worthy of it. Just because my parents made it doesn't mean I can make it, or whatever it is.
Or it's like a reward thing. Like my thing, I mean, I grew up in like upper middle class, I would say. And they would like, money was like my reward system. So like I would only get access to the money if I did X, Y, and Z. So I had
if you're a good girl in a certain way or whatever.
Yeah. And then if I didn't, they'd be like, you can't have this thing. It was all very material. So that created fear.
Right. So like it's just, I don't know. So it's just like,
I'm glad you bring that up.
Universal. No, we all pick up fears and limiting beliefs and limitations around money and how it works for us. And we all get to clear those and be free around them and experience flow with money. It is what I truly believe.
It's very true. And okay, so one thing I want to talk about a little bit, because I know in this past year, there have been some things that have come up with like naysayers and people that have tried to shut you down. And like what you said, you were like, I make money off of these circumstances.
I do. Quite well, yeah.
So like so like in the past year when you had something like this come up where you feel like maybe you were feeling attacked, I mean, your audience is growing. You have a larger reach than you've ever had before. So therefore, there is going to be more of this stuff. How have you found the opportunity and the way to kind of surpass any of that nuisance?
Yeah. No, hold on just one second. I'm needing to change locations really quick.
Sure. You want to be closer to the wood?
No, someone just walked into my house. Okay. Okay, question. So how do I handle the naysayers?
How do you handle the naysayers, especially ones that have a bigger reach?
I think the thing with it is what I just said. Like there was a couple interesting energies going on in my life this year that I think created it. I think one, I believed that I had to overcome something to go to my next level. So overcoming, and it's kind of just a different version of what we were talking about where we have to struggle for something.
Yeah.
So every time I had a crazy hater situation, I used it to elevate my platform and to get more eyes on me. And then when it happened this year, I went like, wait, can I just elevate my platform without having a hateful situation in my life? And that was an interesting one. But then at the same time, I would say my overall core belief is that I use everything for my good and in my favor. Absolutely everything. And I believe that there is absolutely nothing that I can't use for my good and in my favor. So if something hateful happens on the internet, I'm already thinking, well, how am I going to use this? Like, God, what's the lesson? Like, I'm thinking about what the lesson is, what the story is, how I created it, what like my angle message copy on it is. I'm just expecting to use it for good all along. So for me, that means right after my grieving process, like after I get sad about it because it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Like, so after my grieving process, I'm expecting to turn it around. So I have that going on.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought up the grieving part, because again, it doesn't necessarily mean when you're on this path that everything just becomes this high vibe, everything's grand, everything's joyful experience. There are still moments of grieving. There are moments of sadness. No matter what level you're on, we're human beings and we experience emotions, and it's taking the time to be in the emotion and then saying, God, what's the lesson, or however you want to shift from that. But I think it's definitely something to note that this isn't some like take away all the pain kind of lifestyle, so to speak.
No, I mean, I don't believe in spiritual bypassing. We have to move through anything. So I believe in feeling it all, grieving it all, processing it all. I also believe in looking at where was I a match for this? Why did I create this? You know, is this reflective of a pattern, and what is that about for me? I think there's always a lot of juicy things in anything that occurs from us. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a lot there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. So, and that's especially like, I mean, that's just how we expand. That's how we become more knowledgeable. It's how we know things. It's how, I don't know, we just keep it real.
And so I was personally, I think, like having, I don't know, I don't think I have this fully processed completely, and I think I probably will. Okay. I think when I tell the same story next year, I think I'll be able to share it like super openly and clearly. But like what I would say for now is like I was personally going through so much. And so I think all of my self-doubt, and it wasn't around money or business or anything, or even, I mean, I'm trying to think how much I just want to say this very clearly. Okay, so I had a super, super, super hard traumatic experience post ayahuasca. If you don't know what ayahuasca is, you can Google it. So I had a super internally hard time with some, I don't know if we want to call them side effects so ayahuasca opens you up energetically, right?
Right.
And that just is what it is. So it opens you up energetically, and then, like I said, I don't know how to explain it yet, but there became a phase of feeling too open. Like normal things that I could process my whole life very easily would create instant panic attacks or instant disassociation. So my own sense of safety, that's what I would say. My sense of safety was disrupted to a crazy degree after ayahuasca. And like I've moved through it and I feel fine probably 90% of the time now, but it was hard. So I would say a lot of the things that were being reflected back to me with like haters and people doubting me were in some way reflected to my own sense of instability. So I was feeling unstable for a time, and things were creating more unstabilization in my life, and it just isn't shocking. And I'll probably be able to look back on it later and be like, oh, that's clearly such a match. But in the moments, it was just like, well, I'm going to process this, move through this, use this for good, and look at the pattern the best I can. But I think that's part of what was going on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And thank you for sharing about that experience.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys know me, open book. I just try not to share things until I like can use them really, really well. And I don't have a way to use this one really well yet.
Totally. And I'm glad you said that as well. And again, I think you shared where you currently are and how you currently see it. And when we do this again next year, maybe we'll elaborate, right?
Yeah, no, and it gets to be perfect.
We shall see. But yeah, it's an important thing. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say the principle is I think this is the principle that I'm learning that was reflected back to me in a very intense way during that time period is there's this energetic thing that goes on where the energy that you respond to something in is the energy that created it. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
whenever you're like, what is the situation I'm going through? And you look at how am I responding? Typically your response was in your vibrational field. And your response is the actual energy that lived in you that created it in the first place. And it's a really easy, quick way to look at what actually needs to shift when you don't like the situations you're creating, right?
Yes.
So if my response was, I don't know, any kind of franticness and feelings of instability, then the franticness and feelings of instability that I was currently operating in are actually what created it. And I think that would be maybe the easiest way at this time to sum up what all of that was like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. 100%. Totally sensified. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. And again, for anyone listening, this is a really good example of, and again, I'm interviewing Amanda, so I'm kind of taking it, to certain places. But when you're using your platform to share, I also agree that you want to kind of wait till it gets to that place. Like, let's say you are going through something deep. It's not that you can't share about it. It's not that you can't be vulnerable, but at the same time, do what you need to do to be in it. Don't feel like you have to, all of a sudden put it out into the world, because maybe it's not ready to be out in the world yet. And maybe it needs more of you to just be with it. And it needs your own inner teacher and your own inner love and your maybe closer, intimate people and support system in your life. And then there will be a moment where things will click and you'll see the opportunity and you'll see the lessons that were presented, and you can share from that place. And I feel like that's very empowering when you can kind of hold the space to wait until that point.
Mm-hmm. That's typically how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So just know, unless you get interviewed by someone who's like, let's go there. I'll talk in this voice the rest anytime I ask a scary question. Okay, so let's change gears. Let's talk about the bathtub with the money.
Oh my God, how fun was that?
Yeah.
That was like the best thing I ever did.
Okay, so in your, so it's all in the promos of the course. Was this in your Malibu home, in your bathroom there?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So was the tub, 2 questions. Were you naked?
Yes. Well, I had on underwear.
Okay, you did have on underwear. Okay. And was it completely filled?
No, I was sitting on pillows. Okay. And you can kind of see. I was sitting on pillows and there was like pillows like pushing up my legs where like my feet are hanging over the tub. So we had like pillows and blankets in there, like getting me cushioned, and then like layers of money over at the top. Oh my gosh. Basically.
What did it feel like to just have the money being like, just like arranged around you?
Well, that's exactly what it was. There was like 3 people standing around the bathtub, like arranging the money and like feeling it in as like intelligently as possible. Because if money turns to the side, it doesn't take it very much space. So we try to get all the money like flat, like facing up, So it felt like it just felt perfect. Years ago, I think the second year we ever launched the money course, I like did that photo shoot where I'm throwing money in the air and I'm holding $100 bills. And I think at that time I had never seen anyone hold up $100 bill or use $100 bill in a photo shoot at all. I mean, I felt like, I remember calling my photographer and being like, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but I'm bringing $10,000 to the photo shoot or however much it was. I remember
this. You were still in Tulsa, right?
I was still in Tulsa. Yeah. And I remember it was so scandalous and people are like, holy shit. And then a lot of people have done photo shoots with money since then. And that's fine. Everyone can do whatever they want to do inside of their businesses. Like, whatever. It's not up to me. But I think my whole thing has been, what do I want my main message and my main branding to be? And what do I want to be primarily known for? Because it's not really a business coach for entrepreneurs anymore, though I do a lot of mentorship with women who have businesses. It's become, what I want it to be is a high level mentor and the money queen. I just want to be the fucking money queen. So when I was filling into like, okay, I am the money queen. When I was filling into that over the past 6 months, I just felt like I needed to put myself on the motherfucking throne.
Yeah.
Like I needed to identify and brand myself with a photo shoot of who I am. how I show up. And I just had this idea for months now that I was going to sit in a bathtub full of $100 bills. And so my new photographer, Wendy, you know Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She worked with Gabby.
Yeah. That's when I first met her. It was back when we would volunteer at Gabby.
And circle, fast forward to, hi, remember me? Can you?
Circle of motherfucking life. Anyway, so I audio, people are so professional inside of their careers, and I like don't get on the phone with anyone. I'm like, telephone, can we not? So Wendy's like, let's set up a call, and I'm like, I'm just going to audio you. And the first audio says, I need to get into a bathtub of $100 bills. And she's like, okay, let's run with it. And we did. And I just had to channel a little bit of Taylor Swift, look what you made me do vibes, because she was in that bathtub of diamonds. Yeah. And I just felt like it was energetically appropriate, because that was kind of her repositioning herself in that song, which was a genius rebrand, in my opinion.
It certainly was. That was a smart channel right there that you did.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah. People, check out her bathtub shot. It's amazing. You want to find me on the throne, it's probably gonna be a photo shoot of me on the toilet. So that's where my life is right now. Not really. My things are fabulous. I actually did get, side note, we had another guest on, Nikki Agrawal. Have you heard of her? She's really awesome.
I don't know if I know her.
I feel like you would like her. She just came out with a book. She invented the period panties. She came out.
I think she's friends with my friend Nadav.
Probably, yeah. I mean, she's pretty like influential in the entrepreneurial circles.
Does she live in New York?
She does. She lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah, her and Nadav are friends. Okay, sorry.
Yes. No. It makes sense. So anyway, she just came out with a book called Disrupt Her, which is definitely like in our wheelhouse. Where am I going with this? So I had her on the podcast too, and she developed, and I'm freaking obsessed with it, a bidet attachment for your toilet. And she sent me one, and it's been the best thing ever.
That's so cool.
Yeah. It's really
so much better for your vagina.
Oh my God. It's so much better for your vagina and your butthole. And honestly, the whole stitch. It warms up the water, and like, you're so much cleaner. You can wear all your favorite leggings for longer. Cause that's the thing. Like, I love these high-waisted legging situations, but like, I notice when I'm traveling, they don't last as long as when I'm home and I'm using my bidet. Just saying.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to change this right now. I'm making a commitment live on your show. I'm making a commitment. Well, I guess we're not live, but you know what I mean? I'm committing.
Sure.
I have a Japanese toilet in my bathroom with all the bidet settings. I mean, there's so many settings on this fucking thing. It's ridiculous. And it's a seat warmer. It's all the things. And I've used it maybe once, and I moved in September.
No,
but when I'm like in Europe, when I'm in Italy, like when I'm abroad, I use even Bali. They have a little hose next to the toilet instead of the toilet paper. I always use those things when traveling, but in America, it doesn't occur to me yet. I'm starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow, you are going to have a clean vagina.
Extra clean.
In America.
So fresh and so clean.
And it's so good too, like after you have sex, right? You can go over and you can have a little rinse, so that way, you know.
Yeah, like instead of getting in the shower and using the handheld. What are we even doing with our lives? Okay.
Exactly. I'm telling you.
I can't believe I wasn't utilizing this for all of its many purposes.
You had this all this time. See, it was waiting
just like money.
Long.
It's been waiting for me to be ready and open. Now I'm ready and open.
Yeah, and now you are. Oh, your vagina is speaking to us through this podcast. Like, finally.
I'll send you an update tomorrow. I'll text you.
Well, I'm telling you. And let me know if it passes the leggings test.
Okay. I will let you know.
Because it's true. Ladies, I mean, let's be real. Sometimes, we can only wear them for so long. Okay. What else did I want to talk to you about before we wrap up? Okay, well, let's just like shift back to the course again, because this is like your shining moment. This is like the height of what you do. And it's only open for a few more days. Okay. I just want to bring up some of the hesitations that I hear sometimes around people not opting into these things. And the biggest one is that I don't stick to it. I procrastinate. I have shiny new object syndrome, and I'll cash in and then I'll just move on to the next thing. What do you say to these like wishy-washy
I
type
would say then you don't actually get it. If you
of.
think it's about completing it, this is not, we're not in school anymore. You're not trying to make an A plus. There's
Uh-huh.
no completion credit. It's yours for life to use however you want. You
Yes.
get all content and updates for life. So you might dig into it later. But like I can think of things I enrolled in where it was really just about the sign up and what the sign
Yeah.
up meant, or it's really just about something I heard halfway through module 1 or something I heard on a
Yep.
bonus, or just sometimes it was simply about having it. So I don't know. There's a lot of course creators out there that say like, go through it, do the work, do it on time. You're losing it in 6 weeks. If you don't show up to the
Ugh,
live call, you lose it
no.
forever. And that's not me.
No.
I see it energetically, so I don't see it as something you must complete in a certain way.
I love
I
that.
encourage you to do the homework and dig in, but you need to do what you're led to do and what feels right to you, not what you feel like you're supposed to do.
Right. And in these times, again, we're breaking down the old norms and we're breaking down the feeling of like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you opt into this, you have to complete it. And if you don't complete it, something's wrong with you or you're a failure, you always procrastinate. And it's like, no, like that's not who you are. You're investing in this because it feels really good. It feels like the next right step. It feels like where you're supposed to be and how you want to take it, then you'll take it. If you want to skim through and you pull out a few nuggets and it feels fantastic, perfect. If you want to obsess and write down every single word and have 20 different notebooks around it all and take the course 3 million times, that's cool too. But
How
like,
about it? Yeah.
yeah. And like, I just feel like, I think that's the problem with a lot of digital courses because they hold so much value, but I think we're not using them properly because we're using them with an old stale
Yeah, like
system.
we're still in school or something. The
Yeah.
other thing I would say is let's not make it like you have to sit down and have 3 hours set aside to do the course.
Mhm.
Let's not think of it that way. Listen to the bonuses in the car or on a walk. I mean, I
Yes.
have lots of clients and friends, students who are like, oh, I take a walk with you every day, or I listen to you on the way to pick up my son, or like in the
Mhm.
gym or whatever it is. Like, let's just assume that you're going to use this in ways that feel good to you. This isn't homework. This isn't school. Do it the way you want to do it. Just
Yes.
listen to it to be in the vibe of it. That is
Right.
really the work.
Yeah. And it's not, again, about getting everything down or like having the right answers from it. Or did you learn the things that you intended people to learn? Right. Because that's just not the approach. And so, and then that helps honestly, like downplay some of the procrastination stuff. Like the reason why I procrastinate is because we put ourselves into boxes, we put ourselves into unmanageable situations. So we're saying, I have to sit down 3 hours a week in front of my computer to do this, then yeah, you might procrastinate because that might not be reasonable for your lifestyle. But like you're saying,
It might not sound fun either.
no, and it's not fun. Exactly. You're making it hard. We're going back to that mentality of look how hard I work. Look how much I sacrifice. Look what I do to make these things happen. Therefore, I will deserve more because of it, as opposed to being like, no, this is the situation at hand. This is something I know that I want to be a part of my life. How can I look at my life and find fun ways to make it work, like being in the car or, going on a walk or whatever it may be, or just being like, oh, I'm going to sink into it now. And then, life is going to take me here, there, everywhere. And then when I remember, I'm going to go back to it and yay.
Right. Yeah. Like, what's the easiest way to do it for you
Mhm.
in a way that feels good to you? Like, once again, you're not getting credit for things being extra hard. That is an old belief.
No.
You don't deserve the money because you dedicated yourself to the course in a way where it was really hard. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Oh my God. I never did extra credit growing up. Did you?
Oh, straight A student, all the extra
Yeah, I
credit.
knew you did. See, that's why I think you're Capricorn rising.
I'm a fucking Virgo, though. Isn't that very
No, it's
Virgo?
it's very Virgo and very Capricorn. They're both very Earth. Earth is very practical, very pragmatic, very much like tell me what to do and I'll be the best at it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm very overachieving, but I had an interesting dynamic where I was like straight A student, do all the extra credit
Hmm.
when I was younger. And then when I got older and realized how life works, I
Yeah.
definitely got into like, what's the point? This isn't going to
Right.
help me do the things I'm here to do.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
I'm both. I'm both
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah. No, I can totally tell that you've moved beyond that old paradigm, but I was curious if before it, if
If
you
I
were,
did extra credit,
yeah, I don't think
there
I
was a season
ever.
of extra credit in my life.
Oh my gosh. No, very rarely, unless it was like something that I was like actually very excited about, then I would do it. But for the most part, it was a struggle just to get me to do the actual work at hand.
I really liked if I could make over 100% on something.
Gosh, that does not surprise me. I,
Yeah.
I was like, what does it matter? I was like, it doesn't really. count for
Yeah.
anything. I don't know.
Eventually I got
I
there
just
for
was
sure.
so,
Yeah.
I was so nonchalant about it all. Okay. Speaking of wanting to like do the best and go over all the things. So what, in 2018, what did your business gross? What were the actual number?
2,700,044. Something like that.
Yay. That's so
So
fantastic.
nearly 3. Yeah, it was
Nearly
good.
3. Aw, I love it.
Yeah.
What, do you have a projection for 2019?
I haven't really even gone there yet.
Yeah.
And normally by this time of year, I would have gone there. But I think I'm like going through some kind of interesting thing where I'm going to talk about this on a live stream I have coming up too. Where I've been playing with less goal setting, because I'm a really great goal setter. I'll set a goal and like be very intense about it. But I've come to more of like a less goal setting and more receptivity. Like instead of like setting a goal and being in the vibration of that exact goal, what is it like to just feel massive fucking abundance, just more than I can imagine, and be in a leaned back energy of receiving. And that's been really fun lately. So it's not that I'll probably set a goal this month, you know, and get pretty specific. I was getting pretty specific today on my journal with how much I want the company to earn this month in February. So I can see myself going there, but I think I'm just playing with an even easier energy of receiving than I ever have before. Keeps getting easier and easier.
Yeah. Notice I didn't even say what's your goal. I just was like, do you have a projection? Do you just have a
Still a Virgo.
Yeah, because again, I don't set goals. So that's me over here. I'm like, I'm like, maybe I should do that goal setting thing. And I'm like, nah. But
projection, I mean, well, I think once I finish my like desire for this month, I'll probably have a projection for the year. And that makes sense. It's not based on anything besides what we decide we want. Like, of course.
Yeah. Because I guess, and for me, like I teach a lot about the moon and moon cycles and how you can use that for your goals and whatnot. But I'm like, it goes beyond that. It's not just about the intention it is about the intention, but it's the attention that is tied to some kind of feeling. It can be too closely tied to the result or the goal, because then that becomes something that you're chasing, and there's a part of you that's not complete until that's there or fulfilled. And instead it's like, well, why don't we just be in what we want to be in now and just see how it wants to show up for us.
And what I've learned more deeply than I previously understood, is that if I'm in the energy of like, I made it and I made it right by the wire and like it all came through and I had to hold the faith, that if I'm in that energy, then that's the energy I'm in when the money comes through. But if I'm in the energy of like receive, ease, lean back, it's funny how that's the vibe I'm in when the more of the money comes through. So I'm just, playing with even more ease would be the bottom line.
Even more ease for Amanda in 2019.
Fucking man.
I'm here for any of your jingle needs. Just in case.
Oh my God, what if I have a jingle? Like at the beginning of vlogs on YouTube, you can sing it.
I will totally be your jingle growl.
People will be like, what is happening?
Here she is, Amanda Francis,
self-made multi-millionaire. She's the money queen, if you didn't know.
That's right. See, you can do it too. You can do your own fucking jingles. You don't even need
all those other people took her money course and then made their own.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
Totally. Well, it's true.
It happens. Right? In some cases, yeah.
Yeah. Next year, she's going to be in a swimming pool full of cash and do
oh my God, a pool.
Yeah. You're going to totally do like a Scrooge McDuck where you're like going off the diving board into the money.
Stop. I could fill up my G-Wagon with hundreds and then open the door and have the money roll out.
Just like an avalanche of cash.
I have to create an avalanche of cash.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna
happening. I'm gonna
look what you made me do.
Look at that avalanche. It's dangerous. No, it's just cash.
It's dangerous. No, it is safe to receive avalanches of cash. People,
Yeah, it's safe to be buried in massive amounts of money. You will not
I don't know if we
suffocate.
want berry. Do we want berry? I mean, maybe.
Well, that like buried, like where you can still breathe. Like you
Buried
have a
with your
little.
head up. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have it from the waist down. Like one of those. You could do like at the beach.
I'm wading in a pool of money. Huh.
We can make you a little money mermaid where you're laying on the sand and we just cover you up with money and then you look like a mermaid, like we used to do.
Do
With
you
sand.
remember that time we were in the Hamptons and we were in the waves?
Oh yeah.
And we saw like that white, like
Yes. I was thinking
what
about how my
was it?
top kept falling down, but yes.
Well, it was like a.
It was like
What's that word? It was like
a prismy
orb.
orb. Yeah.
Did it seem like an orb to you?
It was like a white auric field.
And you and me and Michelle were in the water, and we all were like watching it, not asking each other if we saw it. And then we were talking about goals and visions, what we're going to create in the world. And then we got out of the water, and we're like, "Did you guys see that fucking orb in the middle of our triangle?"
Yeah, it was just like dancing around.
I know.
It was really magical.
It was magical.
Yeah.
So we're going to recreate that, but with waves of money.
Waves of money. That will be interesting. I think you could generate something to do that.
I don't know. We'll see.
I like imagining.
Well, what's annoying is they'll only let you take 10,000 out of the bank a day. So if you're trying to fill up a bathtub, you have to be strategic.
Right. It's like a process.
Yeah. And I'm like, really? And they're like, unless you want to claim it as income, you have to fill out forms for like the IRS if you take out too much in a day.
I see.
It's a whole thing because they're trying to track money launderers. Oh. And we don't need the IRS to think I'm laundering money when I'm just filling up a bathtub,
Yeah. You're like, this is just to promote my business.
Well, no, like literally I was at the bank showing people like pictures of the photo shoot.
Right.
When I was like bringing the money back, I'm like, see, like I told you, like that's. Anyway,
it's just an accessory. It's just I just needed something to fill my tub up with. Like you have to understand.
I mean, they were excited. The ladies at the bank got really into it.
Oh,
yeah,
that's really sweet.
It was really cute.
I like it. Okay.
See, people tend to support you even when you think you're being ridiculous. The right people will think you're being amazing.
They will, though. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm learning that all the freaking time. Like people will just rally with what you're rallying for. So like rally for yourself and let the world rally right back. So much more fun that way. That's why I've been loving it.
So rally with what you're rallying for.
Yeah, rally. Like jingles, right? Everyone's gonna be like, I fucking love jingles now. And like, if you were inspired by a jingle by listening to this podcast, then Amanda and I want to know. We want to know how you were transformed by the musical influence of our jazzy words. And perhaps even you could go on the Instagram and share your jingle with us. That would be fabulous. That would make us.
We'd be delighted by it. Make us a video.
Make us a video.
Of you singing your jingle.
Of you singing your jingle. No judgment.
Hashtag Money Mentality Makeover. Hashtag
Curiously
Gypsy
confident.
After hours.
No, I had to take away the gypsy. That's another conversation.
Oh God, what are we now?
I was getting a shit ton of backlash.
Right, gypsy. Okay, yeah, I get it.
So curiously confident.
Oh, curiously confident with Danielle and Curious.
Hashtag
curiously confident.
But anyway,
I like curiously. It's like
curiously confident. What does that mean for you? Curiously confident.
Well, I just know that you like to integrate sex into everything, so I just hear it as like I'm a little curious about all the things, and I'm confident.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get it. You're so smart.
It's like, oh, she's curious. Kind of like this is totally, I don't know if this is an appropriate thing to say, but do you remember being teenagers and people would say, oh, she's bi-curious?
Yes. I knew you were going to go there. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how it sounds. It's like, oh, she's a little curious.
Yeah. Well, it's true. I am. I mean, I'm not bi-curious right now, but
but there was a phase.
This moment. I mean, I was curious what would happen if our charts and genders were different, but
yeah, you told everyone about that.
I'm chart curious.
Oh my God. Chart and gender curious.
Yeah. Gender reversal curious. But no, I'm not bi-curious at the moment. But yeah, I used to think about yeah. So you're right. It goes with that. Everything goes to sex with me. Even like like, I remember thinking like, oh, like by spiritually curious, that could be like a thing. And then I was like, I'm not going to go there.
So you bi-curious was part of the origin.
Yeah, it was.
I felt
kind
it.
of.
I
Yeah.
sensed it.
Yeah. You could feel the by the by. Okay. So now I just want to talk in this voice as we close this out.
Have you ever thought about being a sex operator just for fun?
A sex operator just for fun. Let me just take a moment.
You have thought about
to
this.
really
This
take
is
in
not
your
the first time she's used this
words.
voice.
It feels really good what you're putting out. I could just marinate on this for a while, but I'm really flattered, like really flattered.
I think it would be so much easier to be a phone texting operator than a phone sexting operator.
I think
you
so.
can say all the things without putting as much energy out there.
I agree.
mean, not that everyone's trying to be efficient with how they're going to distribute sex, but I find that would be more efficient.
I think so too. The only thing where my hesitation would be, because I'm very, we're both very intuitive and I'm very particular about people's voices. So I feel like if someone's voice on the other end was really like, I would struggle a little. So it's almost like I would need to do like,
texting would be easier.
Oh, you're saying texting would be easier. I think I was getting
confused. Because texting, you type the words, you don't have to put as much
use
into
emojis, you're set. I have a friend told me recently the other night, her and her dude like got each other's off with just using emojis for sexting.
Oh, I think that'd be very possible.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
I like descriptive words. Like I love being like, ooh, like
I love words too, but if it's a challenge, I just think I could do it.
Does this eggplant turn you on with the squirt right after it?
No, they would just arrange their emojis.
Peach. Like, I don't know what emojis.
Strategically.
I don't know. I mean,
but it would be based on things they've already done to each other. That would help.
True.
Like different emojis would bring up certain memories.
Right. Like this couldn't be with someone like you've never ever been with before. And all of a sudden like, maybe. I guess challenge accepted. All right. So a lot of new things starting now for Amanda. She's going to start cleaning her vagina, and then she's going to see if she can get it off with
It's not unclean. It's not unclean right now.
I know. You're just going to wipe, instead of wiping it all around, just going to, give it the cleanse it deserves. I mean, if you are the queen,
it deserves.
Right?
I am the queen.
The queen needs a proper cleansing. Yeah. Okay. So why were we talking about, but no, I don't want to be a sex operator though overall. Cause I guess I could capitalize it and make a lot of money, right? That's a limiting belief that a sex operator wouldn't make money.
Yeah. That's a limiting belief. If someone said to you, hey, Danielle, I have this position open and all you have
like, so do I.
All you do is answer the phone or text, whichever, between this time and this time on those days. And we pay this much an hour. But when you have repeat clients, the rate triple. I mean, could you get yourself behind it?
Yeah. Potentially. It would be very easy. I feel like it literally would be probably one of the easiest things to do. Like
I don't think it'd be hard.
From a performance perspective, I think there'd be a little bit of
like you could really excel.
Yeah, but I think there'd be a little bit of internal ickiness.
There could be.
Yeah, just from like I start to like get in my head of like, who is this? That's where I get a little weirded out. Just thinking about who the other person. But I would need to not do that.
Well, yeah, if you accepted the position, you'd have to not.
I always accept the position. It's very rare that I
turn down a good position.
Yeah. Like, no.
Did we talk about sex last time? I mean, I know we did in the first recording, and then the recording messed up.
Yeah, we really did in the first one. We were talking about BJs and all the things.
Yeah, I do remember the first one. Then we re-recorded it. Did we? And we just kind of talked about sex.
We talked about a little bit. We talked about Captain Von Trapp's penis. I remember that.
Oh, you made your Jesus jokes that you were sexually attracted to Jesus.
Jokes, which they're solid.
Carpenter.
Carpenter. Yeah, the wood. But see, it keeps going back to the wood. Is that what you're trying to do? You're trying to draw in a carpenter into your home?
I think we've come full circle from the wood to the wood.
I like it. Okay. We'll do another like sexy episode. We can get
Oh,
more sex
oh,
specific
you're gonna
if you
have me
want.
back. Okay.
Well, no, do you want to talk about sex? Do you have time?
No. I mean, like, I'm gonna be
You are.
more than once a year interviewee.
Yes. Yeah. You
I'm
should be,
honored.
honestly. Because we've got, I mean, again, like I said in the beginning of the episode, we have good chemistry.
We do. I'll come back and talk about sex. Totally.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
open.
All right. I know you are. So am I. That's why we get along. I feel like we can have a lot of juicy combos on that. For
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
It will always be juicy. Amen.
Always. All right. So notice I haven't asked you any of the cheesy interview questions that people like to ask on these shows. But one that people always ask a lot, they're like, what would you tell your 15-year-old version of yourself? Right? That's like a big one. And I'm like, don't tweeze your eyebrows. Like what else is my 15-year-old self going to really understand? But I had a thought. I was like, what would you tell yourself like 3 months ago that like you've learned? That would be like,
Oh, this is so much better. I mean, I
right?
answer the 16-year-old question on a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. And I'm always like, it's always like kind of that cliche, like, yeah, it's good, but it's like, what does it really matter? So what would you tell yourself 3 months ago?
Oh, okay. I have to think, what month was that? We're in February now. So are we talking November?
Yeah, November works. Actually, I kind of like October. Can we do October?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What would you
Ooh,
go back and tell your October
October.
self?
Yeah. I would tell myself, like, this has been a hard fucking year. And some of these things you feel like you can't see to the other side of, but it is all fucking progress. And progress isn't always linear. Progress is sometimes like a spiral where you're moving in an upward direction, but it feels up and down and round while you're going upward. And I would tell myself, like, trust your process. This is about acceptance and allowing and surrendering and not fighting what is, and deeply trusting yourself and deeply trusting all that you believe in, that you will move through this and overcome, because that is who you fucking are.
That is so fucking good.
Thank you.
Yes. And it's so relevant and it feels so like real and fresh and like now.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
I cannot
I
in the
could
place
have
where I can
used
even
that.
teach on what I learned in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
will when I can, but
Sure.
no, I mean, there's a lot of allowing, accepting, and
Yes.
trusting, and it's just
So much
it's a whole
trusting. Mm-hmm.
different thing we're going to be talking about, I'm sure.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
trust is a big one for me too. It definitely was a wild 2018, that's for sure.
See you later,
Wild.
2018.
Goodbye. We don't miss you, but we
Yeah.
learned a lot and it gave us some relevance. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost to the point. I said this to my trauma therapist recently. I was like, I'm almost to the point where I could say that I'm thankful. And I'm thankful for
Mm,
everything all the time. But like, it's still at the point where, like, I see the progress, I see the lesson, I see the movement.
right.
But, like, I think I will be in deep gratitude from what I got for the year
Yeah.
in more months,
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Always
takes
moving
time.
through.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it does take some time
It takes time sometimes, but the
on
good
the human journey.
is you can get some more of it, and it doesn't cost any money. Excuse me, how much is that time? Well, I guess as a
Okay.
sex operator, I'd have to charge for my time, huh?
Yeah, you'd be back to trading time for money. What a
I would.
disaster.
I
Or you
know.
could create packages, so many sex sessions for, like we
Yes.
do in the coaching industry. Oh my God, if you had sex packages. Anyway.
Here's my package for your
Anyways.
package.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
So Money
So,
Mentality Makeover
Money
closes open
Mentality
enrollment on
Makeover,
Friday.
Friday,
On
February
Friday.
15th.
You get 14 hours of bonuses the second you enroll. When you enroll through Danielle's link, you get her cosmic business planning session, which is amazing. I've done
Yeah.
a few of them.
Mm-hmm. You have.
Yeah, I loved you telling me what to expect
Yeah.
throughout the year and when I would feel like doing certain things and not doing certain things. And I loved watching it all align
Yeah.
in my life. It was super good.
It really was. And here's the thing, whether you believe in it or not, you're not quite sure if astrology is for you. Regardless, you're going to be able to have an
Oh,
opportunity.
you make it so applicable. It's
Oh,
not going to feel weird to someone. Yeah.
I really try to make it seem like almost like a personality assessment and really showcase who you are. And then from the form of what's coming up for you, like, again, regardless if you believe it or not, it's nice to sit down with someone and like plan out your goals and plan out what ideas you have and kind of look to be like, oh, this is a good time for me to rest. And there's less second guessing like how you want to go about doing things. So if anything,
it's really good confirmation throughout the year. Totally.
100%. So that's my trade for you opting into this amazing experience with Amanda. It's awesome. Everyone that does it always loves it. And they're like, I'm so glad I picked you. And I'm like,
how much do you normally charge for those?
So for the one that I'm offering, it's valued at $495.
So good. $500.
$500.
Free session. Yeah, that's what I used to pay for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah, because we only needed an hour. We were good. We didn't have to go super long. Okay, cool. So link is in the show notes to sign up. Again, look for myself and Amanda on the IG. All the deets are in the show notes as well. If you have any questions about the course, email me, send me a message. Here for you to talk it out, whatever you need. I'm around and available for you to opt into this.
I'm so excited to see you guys in the course. I'll see you guys in the Facebook group, the Class of 2019 Facebook group.
Woo! Any last words or final goodbyes?
I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. What a night.
Yeah.
What a night. What a
podcast. Yeah. Yes.
Go make tons of money and live your dreams. We believe in you.
Love it.